Bitcoin bounced from the expected support as mentioned in my Twitter post, which I'll show. In today's update, I'm also going to show you the potential bullish targets if this is our bottom, but also another scenario where we could be running into a key level of resistance soon and potentially still looking to lose this low. So I will also prepare you with some bearish targets. But my bias for now is that we are at least in the short term going up, because from yesterday's Twitter post, make sure you're following me, Louis_crypto. We can see over here, I was calling for Bitcoin to bounce. As you can see, bounce Bitcoin, bounce. Why? Because we achieved this price point again. It was back in, I think, the 18th of around the 18th of March, which we came into the 200 EMA over here, respected it as our bottom. This was the bottom that I personally called, as the 200 EMA was above this 59k wick, and another liquidity grab that I called the bottom on as well back over there. Equally on all these liquidity grabs, and over here called the bottom once more. And as we came all the way back down to that same price point, and we're just expecting a bounce because it is a true support. You can see that if we go to between these 2 points over here, there's like a key area of support. I've extended it to a much larger box. We'll look into that today as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment and share, as we're trying to reach 10k subscribers as quick as possible. If you ever want to learn from me one-on-one, check out my website. The links are down below. I also have a Discord community where we do weekly live streams. So let's go over to the current charts, and link to my Twitter is also below. So this is the key level of support that we can see. If I zoom out on the daily now, it looks quite easier to look at. And we pretty much saw this daily candle during the day actually go beneath it. But as we were not even attacking this point, it's likely that we will respect the support that was being attempted to be lost. And we reclaimed it for the daily candle close. I did also mention this in my Discord before the Twitter post, but I actually also mentioned something further, which was not only that it was going to bounce, but that we would like to actually reclaim $62,150 for yesterday's daily candle close. But it wasn't a problem if it did not. It would be nice if we can actually do so today, actually reclaim this key level right over here. So as we have respected $60,700, and we can also see that when we bounced off of it the first time, we pretty much just filled in that wick and created a new low. So I also need to mark this out. There are a lot of new supports within this area that we now need to hold. So what I'm going to do is actually zoom into the 4-hour time frame, just like that, and we can look at this a lot clearer now. Don't worry, I will zoom out again to show you this huge blue box. It's actually on the weekly time frame. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in my last YouTube update on Bitcoin, but if I did not, it was in my Discord. Apologies. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in my last update. But we can see over here, there are many key supports. That was the main one, 60,700. This was the one I said we wanted to reclaim yesterday, but it's fine if we hold above it today. Actually, earlier today, we already pumped above that level, 62.1. And we actually ran into a key level of resistance. Previously, we saw a lot of bearish candlestick patterns over here. Shooting star, another one over here, or this red one, sorry. Even that green one is one, but some people might argue to doji. In my opinion, both candles here are the same. We're just seeing a momentum shift as we're coming into a key level of resistance. So it's anticipated. And then when we run into here, what is anticipated? A rejection. And that's actually what happened first. We see the low of this candle, current candle, actually being all the way down there. So it was a red candle, let's say, for the first half of this 4-hour candle. And now, with 1 minute left now, this is going to close above 62,100, confirming it as support with that wick, because showing it actually getting rejected at first is stating that it is resistance, but the fact that we've turned it green is actually stating that it's confirmed it as support instead. And that was this area over here. So that's $62,150. But as we've now created this wick over here, there's a new level in town, $61,618 on the Coinbase chart. And as long as we're protecting this new area over here between these two price points, then we are looking for continuation until a key level of resistance. Now we can see we're already approaching one right now and currently rejecting it. But with this 4-hour closure any second now, we're expecting the continuation to at least the range high where we are seeing this death cross appearing. Now, this is probably going to scare you guys, but Usually when this happens, it's showing a trend shift on the 4 hour, but we can very quickly invalidate that if we can build up and reclaim it. So the reason why earlier in the video I said there are some potential bearish things that we need to talk about is because this is a resistance. We have a death cross. So if we are now, yes, we are short-term bouncing, and that's great. And we have been DCAing the last couple of days. That's absolutely great. But it's just a first step in the right direction. If I zoom out again to the daily time frame, we just came down to a key level of support again and are now currently bouncing. So we need to do a lot with this opportunity. We need to take advantage of it, and that's reclaiming very key levels on the daily, also on the weekly. We'll move over to the weekly very soon. But look, what we're struggling with at the moment, the daily 55, what area is that in on the 4 hour? This area of previous resistance, which I said is going to act as a resistance. But with this 4 hour closure now completed, we now must maintain this new area, 61.6 to 62.1, and we will still have chances of looking to break through this area. But for me personally, as we have the 55, the 200 above us, these are more longer term moving averages. What I mean by that is that we've been in a downtrend now since the beginning of the month, and at some point those supports flipped into resistance, so it's just that bit harder to reclaim them. But if we do reclaim them, wow, we are bullish, guys. But until that very moment, I need to warn you of potential rejection from this point, and actually go back to the daily now, which is around this area over here, around 64 to 65k. This is a key level of resistance. Now on the daily, we also see that the 55 is here, but also the 12 and the 20 moving average. And until we reclaim them, again, there's that risk of this is a short-term bottom. It's just bouncing because it is support, but this is resistance. We can see previous support on it, so that's why it needs to be reclaimed. But as we're pumping into it now, it is resistance. And there's always that risk that we come down, this eventually gives up, and then we continue lower. If we lose 59k, which is pretty much what I said on this dump as well, then we're going to see a bigger correction. But until then, no, it's totally fine. We have found a low that is higher than this support, the bottom of the range. So we're actually looking to break out. It's whether we could take advantage of this bounce opportunity to actually take out this resistance. Now I'm going to show you why I had this blue block drawn anyways, and it's nice to see that the EMAs are now also tied up with them. Let's go over to the weekly. Now I have mentioned it, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in my last Bitcoin update, but yeah, it's this previous double top over here. This is where we created the resistance on the first top, but on the second top, although we pushed high in price, we actually respected it quite nicely. And this consolidation that we're experiencing right now on Bitcoin is just anticipated. It's expected. It's not out of the ordinary. Yeah, it's nothing special at all. It's just a previous resistance that we haven't been to in 3 years or whatever it is, 2-3 years, and we're just flipping it into support. So that process is going to be boring. And in that process of Bitcoin going sideways, your altcoins will just get hurt. Now the large caps, not as much, but the micro caps, absolutely. But equally, when Bitcoin reverses, when Bitcoin breaks out, puts in a new all-time high, those micro caps will do better than any coin could ever dream of. So if you want to hear more about them, consider the one-on-one mentorship. You have access to all my cryptos in the Discord community as well. I've also got an ebook with my exact strategy written out if you don't have time for mentorship or to join my live streams in the group. So yeah, all the links you need are down below. Just before we finish, I will still look at some targets for you guys to the upside and to the downside. But please don't forget to also like, subscribe, comment and share so we can get to 10k as quick as possible. And yeah, so people can actually get some real TA out here, because it's just all a bunch of lies and garbage. Unfortunately on Twitter and YouTube, it's really annoying getting to me nowadays that these big people, they are sheep and they're controlling other sheep. So over here from 59k, this is the level we need to protect. So I'm going to put my first Fibonacci, the 1 fib, on this point, measuring the pump until the completion of the pump, which is this price point right here. So then I extend it into the future, and I've essentially drawn out the range, with this being my lowest point and this being my highest point. There are a lot of key levels of support within that area. If I quickly get rid of this box, we can see on the 786, where we came into it over here, we actually found an exact support slightly underneath it. But you could actually pretend, well, not even pretend, but it is a support. But you can put a support box over here like that, and you can see it's nicely respected. But I'm more just showing that weekly area. Remember that this whole area is support. So while we are stuck within it, of course, the top end is resistance. So the main goal is protect the bottom so that eventually the top will give up, because on the weekly it is support. And the reason why we're stuck here is just because we haven't been here in 2-3 years, and it was the previous all-time high, and it's the weekly resistance from there because that double top respected it, that second top. So that's why we're just consolidating, and it is boring. And in boring states of Bitcoin, altcoins go down. It's just as simple as that, because Bitcoin being $1 trillion plus, it's hard to topple, right? It's going to consolidate. It's not really going to get affected. But coins that I'm in, some coins being under 10 million, they're down, of course, more than a Bitcoin, more than a large cap. But equally, that's what brought me 20x in 3 months, from December. So that's where you're going to be getting the best gains. Just have to have that correct psychology and mindset of long-term thinking to hold the dips and know that the dips are always short-term while in a bull market. And if the coins are following narratives, like what I was suggesting in my Twitter post, make sure you're following me. Remember, Louis_crypto. Here's another post of mine. As you can see, make sure you're using this dip to your advantage to reposition out of bad performing coins into these narratives: AI, RWA, and gaming. And that's pretty much our main focus in the Discord community. Yes, we own other coins, but literally 90% of our coins will be in narratives. And just because, this bull market, just like the last, we had the metaverse with Sandbox and Decentraland and whatever. We had a moment for those. This time, it's the ones that I just mentioned. And gaming went up last time as well. Gaming, metaverse, whatever, those two. So yeah, pretty much that's what our main focus is in this bull market, because there's going to be a lot of hype behind it. We're going to be looking at those brand new shiny projects, very small market cap as well, and then going to be taking advantage of that. That's why we've done multiple 20x's in the first part of the bull market, which is historically not actually meant to bring you the best returns in altcoins. It's Bitcoin's time to shine. So the fact that we did those gains, it actually means nothing. It means that those are not any gains really, a 20x. It means that when we go into the second part of the bull market, when Bitcoin actually breaks 73k, when we're done with this consolidation, done with the halving, done with all of that, Bitcoin's going to go in that second part of the bull market, which historically brings the highest amount of gains for alts. So with that being the case, the coins that have done 10, 15, 20x on already in the first part is nothing compared to what they are actually going to do in the second part of the bull run. So if you want to find out more, join the Discord or do the one-on-one. Now, for the targets to the downside, remember, it's about holding this support and breaking this resistance, turning it back into support, because it's weekly support, this whole box. But remember, if we do lose 59k, and that would only be a result of getting rejected here right now and then dumping. So these would be your bottom targets: 55, 54, 51.6k. You can see the 200 EMAs here on the daily time frame. This pretty much suggests the bottom of your uptrend. We can see that historically over here, even just in this bull market, we tend to hold it. You can have some moments where you go beneath it. These are serving as optimal entry points pretty much. So yeah, as you can see, we don't spend too much time in a bull market underneath it. If we do ever go back above it, we see that we trend, we break new all-time highs. Sorry if you can hear my dog. She's just barking at people out the window. She thinks she's a big man. But yeah, so this is going to serve as the bottom. We don't have to go exactly down to it. You can look in the past over here and see we don't really go down to it. You can see even when we lost these moving averages, we didn't test it. So it's not something that needs to happen. Again, we don't need to lose 59k. This is just another scenario in case that's lost. So you are prepared, right? I'm always preparing you for everything. Unlike all these other YouTubers that claim they're good at TA. But yeah, you see over here with the Fibonacci's that it could be if we lose 59k, you might only come down to 55. and then we reverse. There are actually other levels as well. If I mark out this here at 57.7, 56.2. So you kind of need to have both of these fibs on your chart at the same time. But yeah, I wouldn't be expecting lower than 50k. I would not even be expecting 50k either. That is as of now. Things can change and develop, and if they ever do, I will let you know. But we're not even on that bearish case as of right this second. But thank goodness I have the abilities to already prepare you. We're actually looking for the bullish case to continue as we are above 59k and have come into this 60.7k, which I called exactly that bottom right there. Exactly, I called it exactly. And we came into it again and we have now bounced. So if we can reclaim these key levels over here, the resistance and the moving averages, this is starting to look like a double bottom, okay? If you can see that, a W pattern. So if we do actually have our bottom in right now, I'm not personally saying that, but remember, if we're holding this, if we're never losing this, the bottom will be above 59k. And with this double bottom, we do need to take advantage of this situation and reclaim the moving averages. But by then, I'll get some more confidence in saying that was it. But yeah, we should be expecting a bottom above this point anyways. That's why I haven't been calling for lower. It's only when we lose this point, then I'll be calling for lower. Until then, I can prepare for it, but I'm not calling for lower. I'm looking for the breaks to the upside because as I've shown you, this is a level of resistance on the weekly that we haven't been to in 2-3 years. And we're just simply consolidating, turning it support, accumulating for the next bullish wave. Essentially, because we're in a bull market, why be bearish? And anything that is bearish anyways will just result in higher eventually. But you can see already we're talking about an 80, 85, 90, 100k Bitcoin, and this is no different to what I've been saying anyways, guys, the last few months. It's just a consolidation, makes everyone forget and makes everyone angry and irritated and whatnot, but it is in the grand scheme of things all okay. Even if we go down lower, it just stalls off the process of going higher. That is it from me today. If you want to learn more from me, consider taking action on the one-to-one mentorship, joining my Discord community where I spend all my time in there morning, day and night supporting everyone on how to use the charts, all my cryptos that I have in my portfolio, access to when I buy, when I sell, my constant thoughts on the market. I also have educational live streams in there twice a week, teaching you and shifting your mindset into someone that's like me, pretty much turning your attention away from these large caps that everyone thinks are safe, but in reality they're more risky because you're losing out on time and money by waiting on something that might not even move. And this has become a reality for myself personally with the likes of XRP and Quant. I originally bought XRP at 20 cent, you know, that was 5 years ago. 5 years later, it's 50 fucking cent, guys. Says it all. So links, if you want to help yourself, I will help you as well. That is the hardest step. It's the first step. Once you're in, you'll see the difference. Links down below to the Twitter, to the website, to the Discord. I'll catch you over in my community. Cheers, everyone.